Every so often in history, something truly dumb happens. Not evil, not tragic, just profoundly, marvelously dumb. Our setting is the American Midwest in 1874, a time of prairie towns, dusty trails, and more horses than humans. And it was here, amid creaky barns and paranoid mustaches, that an entire region came to believe that horse thieves were running rampant, in broad daylight, stealing noble steeds from hard-working folks. The newspapers fanned the flames, the sheriffs loaded their pistols, the vigilantes, well, they went absolutely feral. But here's the catch, almost none of it was true. This is the story of the Great Horse Crime Panic of 1874, a tale of gossip, paranoia, poor bookkeeping, and the one guy who accidentally arrested himself. Back in 1874, your horse wasn't just a pet. It was your car, your tractor, your Uber, your best friend, and sometimes your last hope for survival. Towns were scattered. Roads were mostly wishful thinking. And if your horse wandered off, your options were walk 14 miles to ask the neighbour if he saw it, cry, accuse someone of grand larceny. So when a few horses went missing in towns like Oskaloosa, Kansas, or Ottumwa, Iowa, the locals were ready to believe the worst. The newspapers, always ready for a spicy scoop, jumped in with both boots. Horse thieves, strike again! Town's third horse, gone in a fortnight. Citizens urged to patrol barns. Were these journalists verifying their sources? No. They were reprinting rumours from other towns, who were also just reprinting rumours from other towns, in a glorious cyclone of horse-based hysteria. Some articles even included wildly unhelpful descriptions like, "The suspect is possibly a man, or several men, wearing coats." Meanwhile, one actual horse was just chilling in a creek bed outside of town the whole time. If there's one thing 19th century Americans loved, it was forming a posse. And in the summer of 1874, they did it with gusto. Across the Midwest, towns started organizing informal militias, complete with torches, maps, and intense slogans like "No Horse Left Behind." One group in Missouri even named themselves the Galloping Justice League, which was bold for men who couldn't read maps and often lost their own horses mid-search. Suspicion grew. Neighbours accused neighbours. Some even arrested strangers who were just riding their own horses in peace. One travelling preacher was stopped 6 times in a single day. By nightfall, he had been accused of being 4 different horse thieves. Here's the problem. Most people didn't have official horse ownership papers. Branding was a thing, but sometimes it faded or got creatively interpreted. Some missing horses were actually loaned to a cousin, moved to a different barn, sold and promptly forgotten about just, horses. Wandering. One particularly embarrassing case involved a man in Nebraska who reported 2 of his horses stolen, and then realized he had tied them to the wrong wagon. As rumors piled up, some towns held emergency meetings in the local church or general store. One community posted a reward for any information leading to the defeat of the horse crime syndicate. Another sent a deputation to the state capitol to demand federal help. Spoiler alert, there was no syndicate. But that didn't stop one small-town mayor from insisting that we are under coordinated attack by organized equine smugglers. That same mayor later resigned because his horse turned up in his own backyard. By the end of 1874, things started to unravel. The newspapers that once screamed horse crisis were now publishing sheepish retractions. Several horses returned, may not have been stolen. Man finds horse in neighbour's field, apologizes with pie. Local sheriff admits we might have jumped the gun, or the saddle. It turns out, surprise, that many of the missing horses weren't missing. And even if they were, it wasn't a criminal conspiracy. It was just life in a chaotic, loosely documented frontier. So, what do we take from all this? Humans are excellent at panicking. Horses are excellent at wandering. And the media, excellent at making both worse. The great horse crime panic of 1874 quietly faded, leaving behind a few wrongfully arrested citizens, several confused horses, and one satirical short story from Mark Twain, who found the whole thing hilarious. No formal apology was ever issued by the newspapers, but one editor was quoted as saying, "We have learned much about horses, mostly that they're sneaky. Back at the fireside we reflect. Sometimes history doesn't need villains or battles. Sometimes it just needs a bunch of well-meaning people, poor communication, and a lot of misplaced hooves. So the next time you hear a dramatic headline, just remember, it might just be another horse crime panic. Until next time, stay cozy, stay curious, and always double-check where you tied your horse."